Oh, welcome back. Fancy seeing you here, seeing how the title of the video is literally telling you to watch other content, but hold on.
Wait a minute!
Hold on, let me explain to you why you should still watch some content, but not the type of content you're thinking about. Alright, mate, I had to record this again and again because I sound like a fucking idiot. But essentially, here's the gist. You already do this, I think, and most people just fucking do this, but just watch the stuff you want to improve on, and that's it. If you want to be a good chef, you watch cooking stuff. And I suppose that you want to fucking learn how to do it, so you should watch more tutorials. That's essentially it. You just watch the stuff in which you want to improve on. It doesn't really matter what it is, but the one thing to avoid is to fool yourself into thinking you're actually learning how to do it when you're actually just entertaining yourself. So you have to make that distinction really clear. Are you fooling yourself and being entertained, or are you actually learning how to do something? That's essentially it. So, now that you have the general gist of the fucking video, you can kind of understand what the rest of the video is going to be about, but not fully. I still want to explore some of the ideas, and you're welcome to go away, but you're also welcome to stay in. So if you're anything like me, you've had an internet addiction since you were a child. And, the first English I ever learned was from Speedy's videos, and his intro was the only thing I ever remembered because it was the same thing over and over again, so I memorized it. And let's say it wasn't the best thing to memorize.
Attention, the following video is going to totally kick ass. If you enjoy any of it and or have a large penis, please click the like button below. Enjoy.
I also have some fond memories of gaming videos of Gmod from Vanos Gaming and his friends. Many of them were funny to watch, but after a while you kind of just want to play the games yourself and have a friend group to do it with. But I never had one of those, which I'm very grateful for. And that way I never developed a gaming addiction like many of you have. So yeah, since I never had any friends to play with, it was kind of boring to just do it yourself, so I ended up developing an addiction to watching YouTube instead of playing games. So I ended up stumbling upon many videos that would talk about games, and then eventually through the algorithm I just stumbled upon some calisthenic videos from Austin Dunham and Chris Harriott, which was fucking fantastic because that became my new addiction. Instead of doing nothing with my time, I ended up developing some physical attributes, like some very, very, very basic strength. Like, very basic. But even though that was very basic strength, it did become the foundation which I used for bodybuilding. So I'm very grateful for that shitty strength. So yeah, through the algorithm I was eventually introduced to the sport of bodybuilding, which was fucking fantastic for me because it was something that I had to learn so much about, and I became more obsessed with this sport because you could actually control everything and build your entire physique with this one form of training, or form of, I suppose it's a philosophy of training, whereas calisthenics kind of limits you to only your upper body. So through my overconsumption of YouTube videos, I learned way too much about programming and essentially optimization of your recovery, of your nutrition, and everything like that. So eventually when I stepped into the gym, my progress was so linear because I had already prioritized learning about the basics and the foundation from which to build your physique on. But I wouldn't have been able to do that without the knowledge. And how do you get that? Through videos. Do you see kind of what I'm getting at? I first watched a bunch of it, I learned how to do it, and then I went out to do it myself, and yeah, I made a bunch of fucking mistakes at the beginning, but it's part of the process and it's pretty fucking fun to do it. When you're actually doing the mistakes, they don't seem like mistakes, they just seem like tiny little things that you're like, oh well, I could have just done that better, and then you just do it better, and it never comes across as like a mistake in your head. You're just kind of like, oh well, this could be improved upon, and you just do it. You never see it as an error. So after a while of committing all of these stupid mistakes, you eventually come across the final version, or a very good version of your program, and you get to just use this program for a very long time. Oftentimes this can last for a year if you do it well. So you get to just train without really putting too much thought into your program. So you get to just clear a huge part of your mind first. Therefore, that allows you to focus on other stuff in your life in which you want to improve upon. So once you hyper focus on this one thing, like I did with bodybuilding, it's like, okay, I know how to program, so I build my fucking program. It's like the ultimate program that I'm going to use for like a year, and after that year I'm going to revise it and be like, okay, this was good, this was good, this was bad, and change that. So once that's done, it's like now you can prioritize something else, and it can be whatever you want to have. But for me it was sort of self-improvement, and not in the typical sense where you're just like, oh, I need to meditate and really get to know myself, and no, it's more like improving yourself so as to build something that can give you something back, i.e. a fucking business. by knowing yourself, you get to actually realize what you want to do. And from that, you can just build off of that and be like, oh, fuck it, I want to do movies, or I want to do videos. And so you just do that. And the only way you get to realize that is through self-improvement, by understanding what you're made of and what you want to do. So I started to focus a lot on that, and I watched a bunch of videos from different people like Hamza, which taught me how to really, I suppose meditate, but not really, although I meditate differently, which you can see on a video I made. But, I kind of learned from him journaling and stuff. And from First Man, I eventually started learning more about like, okay, you can actually build something, and it's going to take some time, but the payout is going to be really good because you can actually build yourself up to be a fucking very, very high value man. And that's it. So that became my new quote unquote obsession, which is really just prioritization. And that's kind of what I'm trying to get at here. So I really advise you to start asking yourself whether the content you're watching is benefiting you in any fucking actual thing, like teaching you something, or if it's just entertaining you and sedating you. Because there's a lot of stuff that's just not worth your time, and you're never gonna get anything or do anything with your life if you fucking keep watching that shit. So you really need to fucking question yourself. And I don't think entertainment should be something that's so readily available. I think it should be something that's earned, and you have to work towards it, because otherwise you're just gonna be fucking sitting at bed watching stupid videos on Minecraft. And this is partially why I think YouTube is such a great platform and such a useful tool, because it's also a dangerous one, because I'll tell you why. But essentially you can actually learn so much stuff. Like you can actually learn how to make a living with YouTube. Like you can learn how to use Photoshop, how to use Adobe Premiere, how to fucking paint, how to do anything, literally anything. You can learn anything. But you can also just watch anything, and you don't really want to watch everything. You don't want to watch Fortnite, you don't want to watch Minecraft, you don't want to fucking watch fucking Jake Paul. So there's a quality to these things that you need to pay attention to. What the fuck are you going to be spending your time on? Do you want to fucking learn about Fortnite and the new glitch that's out that allows you to get infinite V-Bucks, or do you want to learn how to fucking use this program which will allow you to eventually get a job or something? You just have to make sure that what you're watching is worth your time and you're not actually fucking wasting it doing nothing. You just gotta use your fucking common sense, man. The skills and mindsets I've learned from the content that I consume on YouTube has been much more beneficial than anything I've learned in school. In school, I never learned how to read critically and analytically. I never learned how to draw. I never learned how to write scripts. I never learned about bodybuilding and nutrition. I never learned about fucking mental health. I never learned how to do these cool edits on the screen, which you'll see right now. Most of what you learn in school won't give you a 100 times return. If you really learned how to use Premiere Pro or Photoshop, then you could make up a fucking banger video, and that could essentially become your new job. So I had to learn all of these things by myself, and the way I did it was through YouTube, just like a lot of us do. So use it as a tool instead of an entertainment website. If you're watching YouTube and you're not learning anything, then you're probably on the wrong website. You should actually be doing something else instead. The amount of useful information and knowledge on how to start and grow a business, how to learn languages, how to be a better athlete, how to be better in general is insane. Why would you pay to go to a therapist when you can learn about it here and work on your problems without paying any money? I honestly don't see the point. But you also want to be aware that you can consume a lot of shit, so be careful with that. But yeah, I've already gone over this. But my one rule of thumb is, how does the guy talk to you? Because a guy can actually present really good information, but the information is like behind a bunch of editing. So it looks like you're not learning anything, but you might be. I generally just look at the way they speak and the type of humor they do. Most of the times, people that don't teach you anything have a more like sense of humor, or they talk to you like you're a toddler or a fucking kid, or some teenager that you're playing games with. So yeah, that's that. It's kind of like, they're kind of talking to me like I'm a fucking idiot. So yeah, obviously some people can learn how to be entertaining and say stuff in an entertaining way, something that I need to learn. But yeah, just be careful with that. You just have to be precise with the way you use YouTube. Are you here to learn, or are you here to be entertained? One is active and one is passive, and you just have to pick which one you want to have, or which one you want to do. Which one is more beneficial to you? Just for the last thing, the kind of logic I use is essentially, what do you read The Lord of the Rings for? Are you going to learn accounting from that? or are you there to be entertained? That's kind of that. And with that, I take my leave. Thanks for watching, and good night.